Ever since the Shadow of the Erdtree story trailer dropped, everyone has had their panties absolutely sodden with the amount of information that's been given to us. But I think there's a really important detail that everyone seems to be overlooking. There are actually so many little homages to the Gloam-eyed Queen and the Godskin nobles within this trailer. And from what I've seen, it's gone completely under the radar. And after throwing some ideas around back and forth with an amazing theorist inside the Discord called Stolas, I think I have a good understanding and idea of what might actually be happening inside the Land of Shadows to do with the Gloam-eyed Queen. So please, sit back, relax, grab some juicy succulent prawns if you want, and enjoy as we delve into the Gloam-eyed Queen's involvement inside the DLC story trailer. By the way, I do just want to say my throat is really phlegmy, so it sounds a bit hoarse or a bit rough. I really am sorry. From Software are key at subtle storytelling, and this trailer is no exception. The start of the trailer draws our attention to the numerous corpses which litter our screen, so much so that we almost forget that the sky is Gloam coloured. And who just so happens to be standing in view as we see this Gloam-eyed sky? Well, none other than Marika the Eternal. Buckle your britches, bitches, because I am going to give you a batshit insane theory that I have heard quite a few times, and I am a big fan of, and I do believe to be the case. I believe that the Gloam-eyed Queen is Marika. For a really long time, we've always thought the Gloam-eyed Queen was something of a child of Marika, but I think the theory that Marika is actually the Gloam-eyed Queen makes a lot more sense. It's my theory that the Gloam-eyed Queen was this alter ego of Marika before the creation of the Elden Ring. We know that the Gloam-eyed Queen was an emperyan, and we know that Marika is a god. Now, what do we know about emperyans and gods? Well, emperyan is normally the form before becoming a full-fledged god. Would it be so far-fetched to think that the Gloam-eyed Queen is an emperyan alter ego of Marika? If you need more proof about their connections, let's talk about something I'm definitely going to butcher the name of. The Godskin Swaddlings. This item is weird as shit. It's basically got these little infant-like faces surrounded and embroidered with gold. Now, this is really important because the Gloam-eyed Queen actually makes these. These are what she uses to wrap her followers she supposedly creates in, as they are infants. Now, it seems like, considering the similarities between the Godskin robes and this, that these sort of patches actually grow with the Godskin nobles. Now, this is really interesting because of the gold. Colour plays a really big role in Elden Ring, and every single colour has their own little assigned roles. And I don't think this is any coincidence that the outline of these patches are actually gold. Another connection to Marika lies in the fact that the bodies surrounding her, which she's walking up these fleshy steps, are actually flayed. This sort of flaying looks almost identical what we'd imagine the Godskin hunts to look like. A spirit in the Windmill Village says how the people of the Windmill Village flayed and skinned the people they killed and gave them as offerings to the Godskin nobles. I think that it's really weird that Marika is walking through piles and piles and piles of these skinned corpses. Now I'm going to tell you something that was brought to my attention really recently. In the item description where it talks about the Gloam-eyed Queen's defeat, it doesn't say killed, it says defeated. Now From Software is really picky with their wording, and I don't think this is a coincidence. The Gloam-eyed Queen was defeated, not killed. Malekith could have easily killed the Gloam-eyed Queen, but he didn't. Why did he do that? Well, going off the theory that the Gloam-eyed Queen is Marika, Malekith is the sworn brother of Marika, like how Blade is with Ranni, considering his whole purpose in life is to protect Marika. Would it be so far-fetched to think that maybe he found some sort of loophole in actually having to kill Marika and the Gloam-eyed Queen for betraying the Greater Will? And I do believe it's the Greater Will they betrayed because it is said that the Gloam-eyed Queen was chosen to be an emperyan by the Fingers, who are servants of the Greater Will. We know that the power of the Gloam-eyed Queen and the Godskin apostles and nobles was sealed away after being destroyed by Malekith the Blackblade. I believe this is how he got out of actually having to kill Marika and the Gloam-eyed Queen. He instead sealed away their power, ultimately destroying what kind of influence they could have had. This would then leave open a space for another alter ego to form. And I really do believe this alter ego that formed was Radhn. In the DLC story trailer, when she's walking up these steps and the Gloam sky is gloaming, she reaches into something that looks like Everyone has been saying that from the top of their lungs since the trailer dropped, but I'm going to drop a little nefarious action, but a tomfoolery that I think is a lot more likely. Have any of you noticed that we've never actually seen the Elden Beast in a physical form? We've only ever seen the Elden Beast in a spiritual form in this sort of Erdtree realm that occurs once Radhn is pulled underneath the water. The Elden Beast crashed down into the lands between, and with it, inside it, came the Elden Ring. Don't you think it's a bit strange that in the story trailer, Marika reaches into this thing and pulls out what looks like little strands of gold, which can actually be seen inside the Elden Beast in the Elden Beast boss fight. Elden Ring is no stranger to physical forms being absolutely annihilated, the best example of which being Ranni. I think that this weird thing that everyone thinks is a bit of pussy is actually the Elden Beast's real physical corpse that crashed down into the lands between. Something that adds even more to this theory is the fact that a few scenes later, Marika holds up these golden strands and the Elden Beast's theme literally plays along with a shockwave. Now, a lot of people have said that this is the beginning of the Golden Order, and I agree, but I don't think it's the exact beginning. I believe this is after the Elden Ring was actually created. I've had this theory for a really long time. The lands between the Land of Shadows were originally one. This is due to the similar architecture and the fact that some locations from the original gameplay trailer can sort of be seen inside the lands between, or at least really similar representations. A person in my Discord also realised that some of the buildings inside the city that Messmer is burning down is identical to the ones inside of Lindale, almost like a twin city. It genuinely feels like they've just cut the world in half. One's the Land of Shadows, one's the lands between. And the fact that there seems to be some kind of portal, or perhaps a doorway, which honestly I'm more leaning towards, it genuinely looks like a tree made out of corpses, and we do know that the Erdtree, its roots are corpses. I genuinely think that this is after the creation of the Elden Ring and the splitting of the Shadow Realm and the lands between. Something you might be wondering now though is, well, if the Elden Ring is already created at this point, what is happening? Well, I think Marika is reaching into the Elden Beast's corpse and taking the last little bits of grace inside it and, well, using it as an offering. What an offering for what, you might be wondering? I think this is the exact moment that Radhn is born. This is further reinforced when the narrator says, "And two was Shadow born." Now, if the Shadow Realm is already born, as we see inside this trailer, what else could it be talking about? Well, it seems to be Radhn. Not to mention, it talks as if this shadow is a person and not a place. Not to mention, as she starts to do this offering, her body starts to change into that of Radhn, something that hadn't happened previously in the trailer. Another connection lies in the fact that these sort of dusk traits seem to be passed down to some of Marika's children. The best example being Melina and Miquella. Now with Melina, you've got her dusk gloam-eyed eye in the final cutscene of the Frenzied Flame ending, and with Miquella, well, you've got Saint Trina. Has anyone ever wondered that the sort of dusk colour palette and the lavender of Saint Trina and Miquella is very, very similar? Is this a coincidence? Well, considering From Software's past, I would really highly doubt that this is a coincidence, and I'm sure that in the DLC we'll get some kind of confirmation that Saint Trina is somehow connected to the gloam-eyed queen alter ego of Marika. Hell, maybe that's the reason why they strayed away from Marika. Maybe this gloam-eyed queen persona whispered into Miquella's ear, and well, this is the result, him betraying his mother, in the same way that the formless mother did to Mohg. What I next wanted to talk about is what inspired this video to begin with, and for me to look into the gloam-eyed queen's involvement inside the DLC. And that has to do with this person, lying on the ground. What really intrigued me about this person was their weapon. Now this weapon possesses this spiral sort of pattern. Now this is mainly seen in Godskin apostles, nobles and the gloam-eyed queen. All of their weaponry have this exact patterning, and I don't think it's any coincidence that this person in this trailer holds this patterning. Not to mention we literally see so many gloam-eyed queen references, as we've just talked about for the last 9 minutes. This character is kneeling down in the rubble of what looks like the city that Messmer is burning. This gives the impression that this character and the Gloam-eyed Queen are on the opposite side of Messmer and Marika as they're burning down this city. This has so many bloody implications. This would mean there was a divide between Marika and the Gloam-eyed Queen, the two alter egos fighting against each other, just like how Radhn and Marika fight against each other to repair and destroy, respectively, the Elden Ring. I did just want to mention it, I'm not sure what significance this has, but at the impenetrable thorns in the Golden Capital, there is actually signs that it's been burnt previously, and it got me thinking, oh well, we know about there being a cardinal sin, but how did they come up with the idea that it was a cardinal sin? Well, my answer to that is, I think it had happened before. I think the Erdtree had been attempted to burn a long time ago. Maybe the remnants of the Gloam-eyed Queen's forces after her defeat and the creation of the Golden Order came back and tried this assault on the Golden Order, and that was where it came from. That's just a theory, but I think that might be what's going on here. But again, Gecko's batshit insane theories, so please don't take this as 100% fact. Now, I actually don't think the Gloam-eyed Queen is physically partaking in this war effort where her followers are fighting against Messmer, because she seems to be locked away, as this is the Land of Shadows, and if the Land of Shadows are present, then the Lands Between is also present. I genuinely think that these are the remnants of her forces after the battle with Malekith, and they're fighting the good fight in the name of the Gloam-eyed Queen, who basically practically raised all of her followers, as we know from multiple item descriptions. Although I do just want to say this is speculation. We're going to have to wait to the DLC for definitive proof, but I think this is a really big possibility as to what is going on here. Now, once more, we're going to delve into the batshit insane, as we always do on this channel, and I'm going to perform some tomfoolery surgery onto all of your frontal cortexes. Am I going crazy, or does the spiral pattern on these weapons not look like a double helix? Double helixes are molecules of DNA, and as we know, DNAs are the foundation blocks of ourselves. They make us what we are. I think it really makes a lot of sense for the followers of the Gloam-eyed Queen to have this sort of homage to the double helix. The Gloam-eyed Queen and her followers use the black flame, which is this all-slaying flame. It is ignorant to all of the conceptions perceived and created by the Golden Order. It is true life. Without death, life is meaningless, and the Golden Order changes that and twists it into a way that should not be the case. Don't you think it's a bit strange that then when the Golden Order comes round, to my knowledge, this sort of patterning disappears? It is completely isolated to the followers of the Gloam-eyed Queen. I believe this is because the Golden Order breaks the natural order. Things don't die. Death is removed from the Elden Ring for certain people. It is a violation of the natural order, and I think that the reason why this spiral pattern isn't used inside their weapons is because they know it, and they know that they have broken the world. Now, of course, on a biological level, they are still going to have double helixes, but I think this is a really direct, symbolic way of conveying the fact that the Gloam-eyed Queen and her followers are following the true order, whereas the Golden Order is not. Again, just my thoughts. I know that last little bit's a bit batshit insane, but I am truly convinced that that is what's going on. Although if you have different opinions, of course, that's totally fine. And I appreciate that, because I think at this point where we are in the DLC and the information we have, the more different theories we have, the higher chance we have of actually finding out what is going on. Sadly everyone, that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel, and it lets me know that you're enjoying this style of content and want to see more. I really hope you did enjoy this one. I hope you're having a great day, and I'm not going to hold you any longer because I know I ramble to shit and back at the end of these videos. Please, don't you dare go hollow, and may you find your worth in the waking world. Goodbye everyone.